There comes a moment in every human life when the weight of unrealized potential becomes louder than fear, louder than excuses, louder than the noise of the world. A moment when something inside you whispers, or maybe even screams, that you were meant for more. Not just meant to survive, meant to rise. Not meant to repeat the same days over and over, but meant to transform the direction of your life with a single decision. Maybe you felt that whisper before. Maybe you buried it beneath responsibilities, disappointments, or doubt, but it never completely disappears. It stays waiting for the day you finally stop running from who you could become. Life has a way of shaping you through pressure. Every challenge, every loss, every dark night you thought you wouldn't survive has carved you into someone capable of far more than you realize. But when you forget your strength, the world becomes heavy. When you forget your resilience, every step feels exhausting. The truth is, you have no idea how powerful you are because you've only tested the limits imposed by your circumstances, not the limits of your true potential. And those two are not the same. Your circumstances are temporary, your potential is eternal. It doesn't expire, it doesn't vanish, it doesn't diminish with time. But it does wait for you to recognize that you didn't come into this world with an instruction manual, but you came with something far more valuable: the ability to choose. The ability to decide who you become regardless of what happened to you. The ability to rise above the story you inherited, the environment you were raised in, the mistakes you made, and the fears you believed. You are not defined by your past, you are defined by your decisions. You are defined by the moment you choose to say, enough. I'm done living small. I'm done letting fear drive my life. I'm done letting yesterday dictate what I can be today. You are standing right now at the edge of two lives. The life you've been living and the life you know deep down you were made for. The distance between them isn't talent or luck, it's courage. Courage to step into uncertainty, courage to begin again, courage to fail forward, courage to rise even when you're afraid. Everything you want, everything you dream of, everything that keeps you awake at night because you know it could be possible, it's all waiting on the other side of the limits you have accepted for far too long. So before anything else, before plans, goals, or strategies, you need one truth to sink deep into your soul. You are capable of more. Not because someone told you, not because you have everything figured out, not because life has been kind, but because inside you there is a power that has survived storms you never thought you could endure. If you survive the pain, you can survive the process. If you survive the past, you can build the future. And if you survive the worst days of your life, imagine what you can create on your best ones. Every extraordinary life begins with a small, almost invisible choice. A simple decision to try, even when the world tells you it's impossible. People often think greatness is born from grand moments, heroic events, or sudden breakthroughs, but it's not. Greatness is born in ordinary days, in quiet decisions, in the hours when no one is watching. It's born in the moments when you could give up, but you choose to show up. When you could stay the same, but you choose to grow. When you could live in fear, but you choose courage instead. But here's the truth most people never face. Growth requires discomfort. You cannot rise without being stretched. You cannot evolve without letting go. You cannot become your best self while clinging to everything that has kept you mediocre. The life you want demands a version of you that you haven't become yet, and that means letting the old version die. Let the excuses die. Let the self-doubt die. Let the limiting beliefs you've carried for years finally break apart. You cannot step into a limitless future with a limited mindset. If you look at the people who achieved the impossible, they all share one thing: they kept going when they had every reason to quit. They chose perseverance over perfection. They chose discipline over distraction. They chose progress over comfort. They understood that the path to success is not smooth. It is uneven, unpredictable, sometimes painful and always challenging. But they also understood that the pain of growth is temporary. The regret of staying the same lasts a lifetime. Your dreams are not random. They were placed inside you because you have the capacity to bring them to life. But those dreams will demand everything from you: your patience, your courage, your focus, your resilience. And the most important part, your willingness to believe in possibilities you cannot yet see. You must learn to trust the process, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because something is changing, you are changing. And when you change, everything around you begins to shift. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be willing to take the next step. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move forward despite the fear. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need commitment. The world is moved by those who act, not those who wait. Your future self is watching the decisions you make today, hoping you choose courage, hoping you choose progress, hoping you choose the life you were born to live. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not against the world, they are inside your mind. It is your thoughts, not your circumstances, that shape your reality. Most people live their entire lives imprisoned by narratives they never chose: stories of failure, stories of inadequacy, stories of fear, stories built by voices that weren't even their own. But you have the power to rewrite those stories. You have the power to shift the direction of your mind, and when you change your mind, you change your entire life. The mind is a battlefield where doubt and destiny collide. Every negative thought that tells you you're not enough, every fear that whispers you will fail, every memory that tries to convince you the past will repeat, those are the limits you must rise beyond. The mind becomes your greatest weapon, or your greatest enemy, depending on what you allow it to believe. And the most dangerous beliefs are not the ones you question. They are the ones you accept without thinking. You must learn to catch the thoughts that shrink you. You must learn to question the ideas that weaken you. You must learn to challenge the inner voice that tells you to settle, because that voice is lying to you. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too unprepared. You are not too far behind. You are exactly where you need to be to begin. The only thing that has ever truly stood between you and your potential is the belief that you can't, and the moment you replace that belief with "I can" and "I will," everything changes. Your mind controls your actions, and your actions control your destiny. Train your mind like you would train a muscle. Feed it with determination, break it with discipline, strengthen it with repetition, protect it from negativity, focus it on possibility. The strongest version of you is not the one who never struggles, it is the one who learns to direct their thoughts, even in the midst of chaos. Every day, you have a choice: feed your fear, or feed your future, feed your excuses, or feed your ambition, feed your comfort, or feed your growth. What you feed will grow. What you starve will die. And the reality is simple: the life you desire is waiting on the other side of the beliefs you are willing to destroy. There will be seasons in your journey when the world feels silent, when your effort doesn't seem to produce results, when your progress feels invisible, when it seems like no one understands the battles you're fighting. In those seasons, most give up, not because they lack ability, but because they mistake silence for failure. But silence is not failure. Silence is preparation. Silence is where your strength is built. Silence is where your character is refined. Silence is where you grow roots deep enough to support the greatness that is coming. Every tree that reaches toward the sky first grows downward into the earth. The deeper the roots, the taller the rise. And the same is true for you. Your struggle is not evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that something powerful is forming inside you. Growth rarely looks like growth in the beginning. It often looks like frustration, confusion, and repetition. It looks like doing the right thing with the wrong results. But the process is shaping you in ways you can't yet see. The truth is, you are being prepared for a version of life that requires more strength than you currently have. You are being prepared for opportunities that will test your character. You are being prepared for blessings that need maturity to sustain. You are being prepared for responsibilities that will demand resilience. Nothing you are facing is wasted. Nothing you are enduring is meaningless. Every challenge is constructing the future you've been praying for, hoping for, dreaming of. And no matter how slow your progress feels, it is still progress. You are still moving, still becoming, still evolving. You don't need to see the entire path to continue walking. All you need is faith in the next step. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You came to rise. You came to change. You came to break cycles. You came to rewrite the story. And silence is just the chapter before the breakthrough. As you continue to rise, you will begin to notice something powerful. Your standards change. You no longer entertain the things that drain your energy. You no longer tolerate relationships that shrink your spirit. You no longer accept habits that sabotage your potential. The higher you climb, the clearer your environment must become. Not everyone who started with you is meant to continue with you. Not every friendship survives growth. Not every opportunity is aligned with your vision. And that is okay, because the version of you that lives with purpose will attract people who see your value, not those who benefit from your weakness. It will attract clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of chaos, strength instead of fear. And you will notice that the more you respect yourself, the more the world respects you. The more you invest in yourself, the more life opens doors for you. The more you commit to your growth, the more impossible things begin to feel achievable. But with growth comes responsibility. You must protect your vision from distraction. You must protect your mind from negativity. You must protect your goals from the habits of your old self. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. Consistency is not pressure, it is alignment. Focus is not restriction, it is liberation. The moment you understand this, you stop fighting the process and start embracing it. Now comes the truth that will define the rest of your life. Nothing changes until you do. Not your circumstances, not your opportunities, not your future. Change begins in you. It begins in the decision you make today, right now in this moment. The decision to take your power back. The decision to stop living in fear. The decision to rise beyond your limits. the decision to finally become the person you were always capable of being. You don't need permission to change. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need validation to rise. You just need to begin. Begin where you are. Begin with what you have. Begin even if you're scared. Begin even if the path looks unclear. Begin because your destiny depends on it one day. You will look back on this moment and realize it was the turning point. The day you stopped running from your potential and started running toward it. The day you stopped accepting a life that didn't inspire you. The day you decided to rise your life is not a coincidence. You are not here by accident. There is greatness inside you waiting to be activated. There is potential inside you waiting to be unleashed. There is a future waiting for you to claim it. Rise, rise beyond your limits. Rise into your purpose. Rise into your power. Rise into the life you were meant to live. There is a strength inside you that you haven't even touched yet. A fire that has not fully awakened. A version of you that is unstoppable, resilient, courageous, and limitless. That version is born the moment you stop negotiating with your potential